Chapter 1. Thirst for Life. The Search for a Source. The sun beat down mercilessly, draining the last drops of moisture from my cracked body. Every breath was torture. Every breath of air was dry and hot. On a desert island where every day is a struggle for existence, the first and most important enemy is dehydration. Water is not just a drink, it is life itself. And finding her is the #1 task, surpassing even hunger and cold. Where to find water? Natural reservoirs. First of all, of course, you should look for rivers, streams, lakes. But the reality is that they may not be available on small islands. If you come across something like a stream, don't rush to it. Evaluate the water. It should be clear, without unpleasant odor and visible impurities. Water flowing over rocks is usually cleaner than standing water. If possible, look for the source. The water is the cleanest there. Rainwater. This gift from heaven is the most valuable thing an island can give. During the rain, use everything that can serve as a container. Large leaves, hollowed-out stones, pieces of bark. If you have built a shelter, try to make it so that the rainwater drains into one place. You can build a gutter system from leaves or bark. Dew. Morning dew is another source of moisture, especially valuable on hot days. Early in the morning, before the sun is high, walk around the island and collect dew from the leaves. Wrap a strip of cloth around your hand, if available, or just gently collect drops with your tongue or lips from the wide leaves. This process may seem tedious, but in small amounts it can save your life. Swamp water and moist soil. Water from swampy places or excavated from moist soil can be drunk, but with great caution. It must be cleaned. Plants. Some plants store moisture in their stems or fruits. For example, coconuts are a real find. Young green coconuts contain sweet and nutritious water. You can try to squeeze the juice out of the vines, but be careful. Some vines are poisonous. There are plants with fleshy leaves that can also contain moisture. Condensation. If you have a piece of polyethylene, unlikely, but who knows, you can build a _quote_0_. Dig a hole, put wet grass or leaves at the bottom, and place a water collection container in the center. Cover the pit with polyethylene, press the edges with stones, and put a small pebble in the center of the polyethylene above the container. The sun will evaporate moisture, which will condense on the inside of the film and drain into the container. Water purification is a vital necessity. Even the most transparent water can contain dangerous microorganisms. Here are some ways to clean it up. Boiling, the most reliable way. If you can make a fire, boil the water for 10 to 15 minutes. Use shells, stones with depressions, or even a kind of pot made of clay, if possible to find it and burn it. Filtering. You can build a simple filter. Take a piece of cloth, or tightly woven blades of grass, and place it at the bottom of the container. Then pour layers of coal from the campfire, sand, small stones, coarse sand. Run the water through such a filter several times. The filter does not kill germs, but removes large particles and some impurities. Settling. If it is not possible to boil or filter, let the water settle. Pour water into a container and let it stand for a few hours. The sediment will settle to the bottom, and you can carefully drain the upper, cleaner layer of water. Signs of dehydration: intense thirst, dry mouth, rare urination, dark urine, headache, dizziness, fatigue, weakness. In severe cases, confusion, loss of orientation. Remember, a person can only live for a few days without water. Therefore, finding and purifying water is your sacred mission. Focus on that, and you'll get a chance to move on. Chapter 2. Fortress against the elements. Building a shelter. A night on a desert island can be not only cold, but also frightening. Winds, rain, and sometimes wild animals. All this makes shelter not just a comfort, but a necessity. My first instinct, as soon as I realized my position, was to find or build a shelter. This is a place where you can relax, keep warm, and feel at least a little safe. Choosing a place. Safety. The most important thing is to choose a place that will not be flooded during high tide or heavy rain. Avoid lowlands and dry riverbeds. Wind protection. Look for natural shelters, caves, rock shelters, dense thickets of trees. If there are no such places, choose a place protected by a hill, a rock, or large stones. Proximity to resources. Ideally, if there is a source of fresh water and building materials, dry branches, palm leaves, nearby. But safety always comes first. Visibility. If you are hoping for salvation, the place should be visible from the sea or the air. But it is better to make a night shelter a little hidden from prying eyes, or paws. Types of shelters. Natural shelters. Caves. A find. Check if it is occupied by someone or something, and if it is safe, there is no risk of collapse. Rock shelters. Good protection from rain and sun. You can add walls of branches and leaves to them. Artificial shelters. Lean-to, the simplest option. Find a strong horizontal log, or a thick branch, lean it on 2 trees or on supports. Then place thinner branches on one log at an angle, creating a sloping wall. Cover this wall with leaves, grass, bark, and ferns. The thicker the better. This design will protect you from the wind and rain coming from one side. Single-pitched canopy. Similar to the previous one, but one side rests on the ground, or a low support, and the other on a higher one. Gable canopy, A-frame. A more reliable design. Put 2 strong slingshots, branches with a fork, connect them with a horizontal crossbar. You'll get the letter quote 1. Lean other branches on this crossbar on both sides, creating a gable roof. Then also build walls and cover everything with leaves. Inside such a canopy, you can even put a quote 2 of dried leaves or grass. Snow hut, if there is snow. Not relevant for a tropical island, but dense snow is used as an example. Palm leaf shelter. On tropical islands, palm leaves are a great material. They can be woven and stacked tightly together, creating a waterproof roof and walls. Materials. Frame. Strong, dry branches and tree trunks. Roof and walls. Large leaves, palm, banana, ferns, grass, moss, bark of trees. Fastening. Flexible vines, ropes made of vegetable fibers, if you know how to make them. Animal tendons, if you manage to get them. Creating comfort. Bedding. Do not sleep on the bare ground. Make a thick mat of dried leaves, grass, and moss. It will insulate you from the cold and moisture. Hearth, if possible. Set up a small hearth near the entrance to the shelter, observing all fire safety measures. It will give warmth and light. Ventilation. Make sure that there is at least some air circulation in the shelter to avoid suffocation from smoke or dampness. Remember, your hiding place is your island home. The better you build it, the more chances you have to keep your strength, health, and sanity. Don't be lazy. Put your best efforts into it. Every peg driven in, every leaf laid is a step towards salvation. Chapter 3. The Flame of Hope. Making fire. Fire. This word carries so much meaning. Warmth, light, safety, the ability to cook food, disinfect water, scare away predators, and, oddly enough, hope. In my situation, when I was alone with the wild, making a fire became something of a sacred ritual, restoring a sense of control over the situation. The first attempts were excruciating. My hands hurt, my fingers burned, but the result was worth it. Methods of making fire. Friction, bow and drill bit. This is a classic of survival, but also the most difficult method. Components. The base, fireboard. A flat, dry board made of soft wood, for example, cedar, linden, willow. A V-shaped notch is cut out at the edge. Drill bit, spindle. A straight, dry stick about 30 to 40 centimeters long and 1 to 2 centimeters in diameter. One end is pointed, but not too sharp. The other is blunt. Bow. A flexible but sturdy branch about 50 to 70 centimeters long. A string is stretched over it. A strong rope made of vegetable fibers, tendons, shoelaces. Handle. A sturdy piece of wood, a stone with a groove, or a bone. It serves as a stop and pressure on the drill bit. Tinder. Tinder. Dry, highly flammable material. Dry grass, bird down, birch bark, even wet it smolders. Wood dust, cotton, if present. Process. Fix the base on the ground. You can press it with your foot. Wrap the bowstring once around the drill bit. Place the pointed end of the drill bit in the groove on the base, not in the V-shaped recess. Press the upper end of the drill bit with the handle. Start moving the bow back and forth quickly by rotating the drill bit. The pressure must be constant. It is important to achieve a fast rotation. Smoke will appear, then coal dust. When steady smoke and black dust appear, stop spinning. Carefully bring the prepared tinder to the smoldering dust. Gently fan the tinder until it engulfs the flame. Transfer the flame to the prepared small twigs, kindling. Hand drill. Similar to the previous method, but without the bow. The drill rotates with the palms of your hands. It's even more difficult and requires very dry materials and strong, calloused hands. Fire plow. A simple but effective design. A groove is made on the plaque. The sharp end of the other stick, plow, is driven back and forth along the groove until smoldering dust forms. Using a lens. If you have glasses, binoculars, a magnifying glass, or even the bottom of a glass bottle, you can focus the sun's rays on tinder. This is the easiest and fastest way, weather permitting. Flint and flint, if you're lucky. If you find a piece of flint or other hard stone with sharp edges, and a piece of pyrite, or steel if available, you can strike a spark. Hit the stone against the stone so that the sparks fall on the tinder. Preparation of wood and kindling. Dryness is the key to success. Look only for dry branches. Even slightly damp wood will not burn. Dead wood that has not yet rotted is best suited. Kindling. Kindling. These are small, dry twigs that catch fire from tinder. Start with the thinnest ones, the size of a match, then gradually increase the thickness. Firewood. Fuel wood. These are larger branches and logs that will keep the fire going. Safety measures. Never leave a fire unattended. Make a bonfire at a safe distance from the shelter and dry vegetation. Clear the bonfire area of leaves and grass. Have water or sand handy to put out the fire if necessary. Making a fire is a skill that is honed by practice. Don't despair if it doesn't work out the first time. Keep trying, experiment with the materials. Fire is your faithful ally in the struggle for survival. Chapter 4. Gifts of the Island. Food extraction. Hunger is a slow but insidious enemy. On a desert island, the search for food turns into constant hunting and gathering. Your energy, strength, and ultimately your life depend on how effectively you can find what you eat. But here, as in everything, it is important to be careful and not put yourself at unnecessary risk. Gathering is the basis of the diet. Edible plants. Many islands have edible wild plants, fruits, and roots. Fruits. Coconuts are an obvious choice, but so are other fruits, if you can recognize them. They can be a source of vitamins and carbohydrates. Roots and tubers. Many plants have edible roots. They often need to be cooked, boiled, baked, to make them digestible and remove toxins. Leaves and shoots. The young leaves of some plants, ferns, wild spinach, are edible. Nuts. If you find nuts, great. But make sure they're not bitter or poisonous. The _, _0_ rule. If you are not sure about the edibility of the plant, take a test. It's a long and risky process, but it can save lives. We divided the plant. Separate the leaves, stems, roots, and fruits. Take a sniff. Is there a sharp, unpleasant smell? Skin contact. Rub a small piece of the plant against the skin on your wrist. If after 15 to 20 minutes there is no itching, redness, or burning, you can try further. Lip slash. Tongue contact. Touch your lips, then your tongue. If there is burning, tingling, or numbness, immediately spit it out and wash your mouth. Swallow a small piece. If there is no reaction, swallow a tiny piece. Wait for 8 hours. If there is no nausea, vomiting, or abdominal pain, you can try to eat a little more. Eat a small amount. If everything is fine, eat a small portion, the size of a pea. Wait for 8 hours again. If there are no negative reactions, the plant is probably edible. Danger. Never eat unfamiliar mushrooms. Many of them are deadly poisonous. Avoid plants with milk juice, bitter taste, almond smell, thorns, although not all thorny plants are poisonous. Hunting and fishing. Fishing. The sea is an excellent food source. The simplest fishing rod. Use a flexible but strong branch as a rod, a thin but strong rope made of vegetable fibers, like a fishing line, and a sharpened bone or spike like a hook. The bait is a worm, an insect, a piece of shell. Fish weir. In shallow water, you can build a dam made of rocks or branches that will catch fish at low tide. Gauntlet. Make a long stick with several sharp tips at the end. Use it to catch fish in shallow water. Fishing for shellfish and crustaceans. Crabs, shrimps. Look for them in the coastal waters, under rocks, in crevices. Oysters, mussels, sea urchins. Collect them at low tide. Make sure they are fresh. The shells must be tightly closed. They often need to be cooked over a fire. Catching small animals. Bird eggs, an excellent source of protein. Look for nests in trees or rocks. Insects. Many insects, grasshoppers, larvae, are edible and nutritious. It's better to cook them. Small rodents, lizards. You can try to catch them with traps or just by hand. Again, they require preparation. Cooking. Cooking. Use shells, stones with depressions, pottery, if done. Cooking makes food safer and more digestible. Baking. Wrap the food in leaves, nettle, banana, and put it in the ashes of the campfire. Frying. Fish or meat can be fried on a flat, hot stone. It is important to remember, do not eat raw fish or meat unless you are absolutely sure of their safety. It's better to cook. Don't risk eating something you're not 100% sure about. It's better to skip a meal than to get poisoned. Save energy. Hunting and gathering require a lot of effort. Plan your outings. Getting food is a constant struggle. But with every coconut you find, with every fish you catch, you will feel stronger and more confident. This is your daily feat, which brings you closer to salvation. Chapter 5. A call for help. Rescue signals. When all the essentials, water, shelter, fire, food, are provided, the main question arises: how to get out of here? Alarms are your chance to remind the world of your existence. It's the language you speak to the sky and the sea. __quote _0 __. This is a task that requires not only physical effort, but also ingenuity. Types of signals. Fire and smoke. Daytime signal. Make a big bonfire in the most visible place, on top of a hill, on an open beach. To make the smoke thicker and more visible, add green leaves, grass, and wet wood to the fire. The triple bonfire, 3 bonfires arranged in a triangle, is an international distress signal. Night signal. At night, the bright flame of a campfire is visible from afar. Support him, especially if you hear the noise of an airplane or see the lights of a ship. Mirror or reflective surface. Signal mirror. If you have at least something shiny, a piece of mirror, a polished metal plate, a phone screen, a CD, you can use it to send signals. Direct a ray of sunlight at an airplane or a ship. Learn to aim. You can use your hand as a sight. Visual signals. Sows on the ground. On an open beach or a flat clearing, Lay out huge SOS letters made of stones, branches, and contrasting objects. The letters must be large, at least 3 meters long, so that they can be seen from the air. Flag. If you have a bright cloth, tie it to a long stick. Wave the flag when you see potential rescuers. Colored items. Bright items, clothes, life jackets, can be placed in a prominent place. Sound signals. Whistle. If you have a whistle, it's a great signal. 3 short beeps, a distress signal. Screams. Shout if you hear the sound of an approaching ship or plane. Drums. Theoretically, you can tap on tree trunks, creating rhythmic sounds. Signal tactics. Visibility. Choose places that are as visible as possible from the sea and air. High points, open beaches. Time. Be on your guard all the time. Rescuers can appear at any moment. Consistency. Don't stop signaling until you're sure you've been spotted. Observation. Constantly scan the horizon and sky. What should I do if you're noticed? Don't panic. Keep giving the signals. Follow the instructions of the rescuers. Giving signals is an act of faith. You have to believe that someone is looking for you, that someone will see your sign. Keep your hope alive.
Keep it going.
Be persistent, and one day you will hear the sound of a motor that will bring you freedom. Chapter 6. Explorer of the Unknown. Exploring the Island. An island is not just a piece of land in the middle of the ocean. It's a whole world full of hidden possibilities and dangers. To survive, you need to become its researcher, cartographer, and expert. Exploring the island is not just a curiosity, it is a vital necessity. Why explore the island? Resource search. Where are the freshwater sources? Which plants are edible and which are poisonous? Where is the best place to fish? Are there caves or natural shelters? Where can I find materials for construction and tools? Hazard assessment. Are there any predators on the island? Venomous snakes or insects? Dangerous swamps or cliffs? The tides, how strong are they? Planning. Understanding the terrain, location of resources, and hazards will help you better plan your actions, movements, and construction. Psychological aspect. Exploring the island helps to distract from depressing thoughts, focus on the task, and feel more confident. How to explore the island. Sightseeing from a hill. Find the highest point on the island, hill, rock, and take a look around. Try to memorize or draw a map of the area, the location of the coastline, forests, mountains, open spaces, possible water sources. Exploring the coastline. Walk around the island's perimeter, if possible. Mark for yourself the places where there is access to the sea, beaches, cliffs, where you can find shellfish, where the thickets begin. Pay attention to the tide tracks. Moving inland. Do it carefully. Leave marks. Break branches. Make notches on trees so as not to get lost and be able to return. Follow the landmarks. Use streams, hill crests, and unique trees as landmarks. Listen to sounds. The sound of water, bird song, and the crackle of branches can tell you where things are. Be careful of the tracks. Animal tracks can point to their trails and habitats. Mapping. Even a simple map drawn on a piece of bark or in the sand will help you navigate. Mark it on it. Water sources. Places with food, edible plants, fishing spots. Shelters. Caves, canopies, dangerous areas, your main home, paths to resources. Nature observation. Birds. Their flight can indicate the direction to water or other resources. Insects. They can be both a food source and a danger, poisonous.
Finally finished the survey.
Animals.
The map
Study
is
their
complete.
habits.
Ready for
Where
the
do they
next
drink?
journey.
What do they eat? Where do they sleep? Their paths can lead you to the water. Safety during research. Never go deep into the island alone, if there is such a possibility. Even on a desert island, it is unlikely. Inform someone, if any, about your route and time of return. Take some water and some food with you. Don't take unnecessary risks. If you see a dangerous area, go around it. Be prepared for unpredictable weather conditions. Exploring the island is a process that can take days, weeks. But the better you know your surroundings, the more chances you'll have to survive and maybe even find a way out. Every new meter of the explored territory is your small victory. Chapter 7. Tools of Survival. Making tools. A stone, a stick, and a rope are the three pillars of primitive survival. Without tools, any task becomes much more difficult. My hands got tired quickly, but the realization that every tool I created was a step towards a more comfortable and safer life gave me strength. Creating tools. Cutting tools. Knives, axes. Stone knives. Find hard stone, quartz, obsidian, granite, with a sharp edge. If the edge is not sharp enough, you can cut it with another stone, creating chips. This knife is useful for cutting ropes, cutting prey, and planing wood. Stone axe. A more labor-intensive but very useful tool. Find a stone of a suitable shape, shape it into an axe shape, beating the edges. Then find a strong stick, make a fork or notch on it, insert a stone, and wrap it tightly with vines or ropes. Piercing tools, spears, harpoons. Spear, a long, straight stick, 2 to 3 meters, at the end of which several pointed tips, made of wood, bone, stone, are fixed. Ideal for hunting fish in shallow water. Spear, a long stick with a single sharpened or fixed tip, stone, bone. It can be used for hunting larger game or as a defense weapon. Tools for making fire. See Chapter 3. Bow, drill, handle, flint. Construction tools. Shovel. Make it out of a flat stone, a large shell, or a piece of bark fixed on a stick. Hammer. A sturdy stone of suitable shape. Tools for food extraction. Fishing hooks. Make it out of bone, thorn, solid wood. Nets and traps. This is a more complex weave that requires ropes. You can make loops for small animals, trap baskets for fish. Ropes and cords. Materials. Use the inner bark fibers of some trees, nettle, linden, vine, animal tendons, split straps if available. Weaving technique. Twist the fibers into a rope, weave them together. The more fibers and the tighter the twist, the stronger the rope. Materials for manufacturing. Stone, hard, sharp, suitable for upholstery. Tree, dry, strong branches and trunks. Different types of wood have different properties. Bone, if you manage to get an animal. Seashells, large, sturdy shells. Plant fibers, vines, bark, herbs. Safety precautions during manufacturing. Be careful of the sharp edges of rocks and bones. When cutting the stone, use eye protection, if available. Carefully fix the tips on the sticks. Creating tools is a process that requires patience and ingenuity. Don't be afraid to experiment. Every knife, every spear, every rope that you create with your own hands is your contribution to your own survival. This is your little victory over the wild. Chapter 8. Peace of mind, keeping your sanity. On a desert island, physical difficulties are only part of the problem. The most terrifying battle is unfolding inside, a battle with despair, fear, and loneliness. Keeping a clear mind and not panicking is perhaps the most difficult, but also the most important condition for survival. How to deal with despair and fear. Set small, achievable goals. Don't think about how you will live here for months or years. Set a goal for today. Find water, fix a shelter, get a fire. When you achieve a goal, you feel satisfied and energized. Keep yourself busy. Your hands should be busy, your head should be thinking. This can be making tools, searching for food, fortifying shelters, exploring the island. Monotonous but useful work distracts from negative thoughts. Create a routine. Try to stick to a certain daily routine. Getting up, collecting water, searching for food, working on shelter, preparing for the night. Routine gives you a sense of stability and control. Reflect, but don't wallow in self-flagellation. Analyze your actions. Think about what can be done better, but don't blame yourself for mistakes. Mistakes are an experience. Look for positive things. Even in the most desperate situation, you can find something good. Beautiful sunset, bird song, delicious fruit found. Fix these moments. They give you strength. Talk to yourself or to an imaginary friend. Yes, it may seem strange, but talking to yourself helps you organize your thoughts, talk through your fears, and find a solution to a problem. An imaginary friend, like I had Chuck the Turtle, can be a great conversationalist. Remember about your home, about your loved ones. Think about who you want to survive for. This is a powerful incentive. But don't let these thoughts make you sad. Use them as motivation. Develop patience. Survival is a marathon. We need to be prepared for a long struggle. Don't expect instant salvation. Visualize success. Imagine how you return home, how your loved ones greet you. It may seem fantastic, but positive thoughts work wonders. Accept reality. Realize that you are on a desert island and your main task is to survive. Don't waste your energy on denial or self-pity. Focus on what you can control. Loneliness is an ordeal, but even in complete solitude, you can find inner resources. Your mind is the most powerful survival tool. Learn how to use it. Chapter 8. Peace of mind. Keeping your sanity. On a desert island, physical difficulties are only part of the problem. The most terrifying battle is unfolding inside, a battle with despair, fear, and loneliness. Keeping a clear mind and not panicking is perhaps the most difficult, but also the most important condition for survival. How to deal with despair and fear. Set small, achievable goals. Don't think about how you will live here for months or years. Set a goal for today. Find water, fix a shelter, get a fire. When you achieve a goal, you feel satisfied and energized. Keep yourself busy. Your hands should be busy, your head should be thinking. This can be making tools, searching for food, fortifying shelters, exploring the island. Monotonous but useful work distracts from negative thoughts. Create a routine. Try to stick to a certain daily routine. Getting up, collecting water, searching for food, working on shelter, preparing for the night. Routine gives you a sense of stability and control. Reflect, but don't wallow in self-flagellation. Analyze your actions. Think about what can be done better. But don't blame yourself for mistakes. Mistakes are an experience. Look for positive things. Even in the most desperate situation, you can find something good. Beautiful sunset, bird song, delicious fruit found. Fix these moments. They give you strength. Talk to yourself or to an imaginary friend. Yes, it may seem strange, but talking to yourself helps you organize your thoughts, talk through your fears, and find a solution to a problem.
To bake these roots.
An imaginary friend, like I had Chuck the Turtle, can be a great quote zero. Remember about your home, about your loved ones. Think about who you want to survive for. This is a powerful incentive. But don't let these thoughts make you sad. Use them as motivation. Develop patience. Survival is a marathon. We need to be prepared for a long struggle. Don't expect instant salvation. Quote one success. Imagine how you return home, how your loved ones greet you. It may seem fantastic, but positive thoughts work wonders. Accept reality. Realize that you are on a desert island, and your main task is to survive. Don't waste your energy on denial or self-pity. Focus on what you can control. Loneliness is an ordeal, but even in complete solitude, you can find inner resources. Your mind is the most powerful survival tool. Learn how to use it. Chapter 9. Nature's Healer. First Aid. Wounds and illnesses on a desert island can be fatal. There are no hospitals, no doctors, no antibiotics. Therefore, the ability to provide first aid to oneself using improvised means is a vital skill. Every cut, every scratch requires attention. Basic principles of first aid. Stopping the bleeding. Direct pressure. Press a clean cloth or sheet against the wound and hold it until the blood stops. Lifting a limb. If an arm or leg is injured, lifted above the level of the heart. Tourniquet. As a last resort, in case of severe arterial bleeding, a tourniquet can be applied above the wound. But remember that the tourniquet can be held for a short time, 15 to 20 minutes. Otherwise, the limb may become dead. Cleaning and treatment of wounds. Rinsing. Wash the wound with clean, fresh water, boiled if possible. Antiseptics. Plant juice. Some plants have antiseptic properties, for example, aloe, psyllium. Use them with care, making sure that the plant is safe. Salt. Seawater or a mild saline solution can help clean the wound. Dressing. Use a clean cloth, leaves, for example, plantain. It has a hemostatic and wound healing effect. Moss. Change the bandages regularly. Treatment of burns. Cooling. Apply cool, not icy, water to the burn. A wet cloth. Protection. Cover the burn with a clean sheet, for example, burdock, banana, to prevent infection. You can use aloe juice. Treatment of bites and injections. Snakes. If bitten by a snake, try to remember its appearance. Immobilize the bitten limb. Drink as much water as possible. If possible, immobilize the wound and suck out the poison. But this is a controversial method. The main thing is to get to civilization as soon as possible. Insects. In case of insect bites, bees, wasps, remove the sting, wash the wound. You can add plantain or baking soda, if available. Poisoning. Vomiting. If you have eaten something poisonous, induce vomiting, for example by mechanically irritating the root of the tongue. Drink plenty of water. Activated charcoal. If you have pills, take them. Plants. Remember which plants you know to be poisonous. Fractures and dislocations. Immobilization. When fractured or dislocated, try not to move the injured limb. Make a splint out of sticks and fix it with ropes or cloth. Maintaining hygiene. Body cleanliness. Wash in fresh water whenever possible. Oral hygiene. Brush your teeth with a stick, rinse your mouth. Cleanliness of the shelter. Clean your home regularly. Natural medicines. Psyllium. Hemostatic, anti-inflammatory. Aloe. Healing, anti-burn. Nettle. Used as a hemostatic as well as in food after processing. Oak bark. Has astringent properties, is used for wounds and diarrhea. Remember that your body is your most important tool. Take care of him. Any wound, any disease can become a serious problem. Be careful, use the knowledge of nature, and you will be able to overcome these challenges. Chapter 10.
Hey,
Never
over here,
giving
a
up.
boat!
The will
Help,
to
I'm
live.
here! Please.
The 10th
Hang in there,
point
buddy.
that I
We
would
got the
like to
signal.
highlight is
Thank you.
not so
Let's
much
move.
a specific
Look, flares from
skill
the island.
as a state of mind. This is the inner strength that allows you to get up in the morning when your body aches with fatigue and your mind whispers, "Give up." It's the will to live that drives you when all other hopes seem to have faded. What feeds the will to live? Goal. The main goal is to survive and return home. But beyond that, set yourself small daily goals. Finish building a canopy, find a new food source, and build a campfire the first time. Every goal you achieve is a confirmation of your strength. Hope. The hope of salvation, the hope of meeting with loved ones, the hope that tomorrow will be better. Even the thinnest thread of hope can keep you afloat. Self-belief. You're here. You're alive.
There!
This
the
already
rescue
means
boat.
that you are stronger than you
I'm
think.
here, wait for me!
Don't let your fears and doubts undermine your self-confidence. You can handle it. Discipline. The will is a muscle that needs to be trained. Discipline helps to act, even when there is no desire.
All right,
Stick
you're
to the
cleared.
routine.
Let's get you on deck.
Complete your tasks.
Thank you. I just need to see it one
Acceptance.
last time.
Accept your situation. You're on a desert island. This is the reality. Instead of fighting it, focus on what you can do under these conditions. Perseverance.
Let's
Don't
check you
give
over.
up.
Any pain?
Don't give up.
My chest and arm hurt.
Every new day
Breathe
is a
for
new
me.
chance.
It hurts
Every
there.
failure is a lesson. Keep going forward, even if your steps are small. Optimism. Reasonable. Try to see the good. Focus on what you have, not what you lack. That doesn't mean ignoring the dangers, but it does mean not letting them consume you. Fortitude. You will fall. You'll be wrong. You will feel pain and despair. But the true power is to rise again.